How's it going, everybody? Kasabe here for Team Build Tuesday, and today I'm going to do something a little bit different, and that is use a random number generator to determine my squad based on their parallel level. So as you can see here, I have a random number generator that I've listed 1 through 6. There are 5 parallel levels, which parallel 1 would be 1 on the random number generator, parallel 5 would be the 5 that pops up. If we get a 6, we have to use a player that is unparalleled or at the base level. So I don't have a ton of players at each position that can be each parallel level. Like, I only have so many parallel 3s, 4s, and 5s, which is kind of forcing me to choose new players. There are a lot of 99s to choose from. But what I intend to do is if we draw something at that position that we don't have that parallel level for, we take a penalty and go back down to base level anyhow. And that player has to be under a diamond, so gold or lower. That'll just really make things more complicated if I don't have anybody at that position. As I said, a lot of unparalleled cards I have at a 99. If I roll a 6, I can choose from those. If I roll something that I don't have that parallel level at, it has to be an 84 or lower. So for this game, we'll be picking a full starting lineup and bullpen. We're only going to choose one starting pitcher, however, since we're not going to be using multiple starting pitchers in the same game. Unless, of course, we happen to get a shortened game because of a rage quit or something like that, I will re-roll and pick a new starting pitcher for that. I also have to pick somebody that plays that normal position, so I have Soriano over in left field, for example. I can't stick him at second base if I roll him. I have to play him at the position that he's listed for, and I can't switch in any bench players either. I can only use them as pinch hitters. So let's get started with the random number generator. We're going to start in left field since we have that selected. Starting with 2, so we have to pick a parallel 2 at left field. So right off the bat, I do have the older Soriano, I have Yordan Alvarez, and I have Kyle Schwarber. The monthly awards, Kyle Schwarber, that is. Those are probably going to be some of my only options. Ooh, actually we have David Justice. You know what? I might just give David Justice a try. He was pretty good back in April. In center field, we have parallel 5, which leads to one option, and that is the live series Byron Buxton. I strike out with him quite a bit, so this might be a struggle anyways. David Justice, Byron Buxton in the outfield. This is looking like April and May all over again. At right field, let's generate, and we have parallel 2 again. Parallel 2, we have Roberto Clemente, Randy Arozarena, a couple other options like Matt Carpenter. He's actually a right fielder. This would be a curious choice. I'd pick Carpenter because he has great hitting stats, but his speed's kind of low, so I'm actually going to go with Arozarena over here in right field. Moving on to third base, parallel 4, I think Devers is my only option, so I'm going to leave him there. At shortstop, parallel 5, I think Seager's the only one that I actually have close to parallel 5 at shortstop, so that one we're going to have to go back to an 84 or lower player, unfortunately. So my options start with CJ Abrams, Jimmy Rollins, Michael Young's card over here. We also have Dansby Swanson's base level card, which I do pretty good with the higher up Dansby Swanson, so we're a bit used to him, and he has some decent fielding and speed. I'm actually going to go with Dansby Swanson. At second base, we have yet another parallel 2, and for that, that's an easy choice. This Marcus Semien card just doesn't look very good to me on paper, but I just mash with him, so we have Marcus Semien over at second. First base, we have a ton of options. I have parallel 5 Morneau, I have parallel 3 Morneau. I think the only parallel that I don't have is 4. Alright, so we got parallel 5. That means we're using the All-Star Game Justin Morneau from the collection reward earlier in the year. He's an 86 all the way up to a 91 overall. Catcher's another tough one. I don't think I have anybody over parallel 3. Mauer is really close to a parallel 4 but isn't. And we got parallel 1. Okay, who do we have that's parallel 1? We have Jorge Posada, Alejandro Kirk. We have the 96 Joe Mauer. I'm going to stick with Posada just for that switch hitter ability. Let's go to the bench. I guess I have a little bit more freestanding with what players I want to pick here. So I just did parallel 3, which I'm going to stick with Ken Griffey Jr. on the bench. Another parallel 3. I'm going to keep Gary Sanchez as a catcher option. He also has great power off the bench. Back to parallel 1. I think for this bench option, I'm going to pick Sean Green since he does really well against righties. I've been batting super well with him in the limited games that I have played to this point. Parallel 5 bench player. Okay, who do we have left that's still a position player? I literally don't have any other parallel 5 position players. I just have that Buxton and Morneau. I have Shohei Ohtani, but he's listed as a pitcher, so we're going to have to take the L on this one and go for a player that's below 85. I think the smart approach would be to get somebody with speed, so we do have this 84 overall Kenny Lofton card who has 98 speed, 98 stealing. So I'm going to list him as one of our last bench options. And the final bench position is another parallel 3. Parallel 3, like I said, one of those limited options where I don't have a whole heck of a lot of people. I guess we could pick Joe Mauer since he's another catcher that I have at parallel 3. And there we go. There's the bench. We have 3 parallel 3 players, which I think are some of the only ones that I still have at that level. 2 catchers, Gary Sanchez for power, Joe Mauer for contact, Griffey for just about anything, Green against righties, and Lofton for speed. I think that's a pretty solid lineup there. So now we move over to the rotation, and the big question is which starting pitcher are we going to roll with here? We can only pick one, and that number is parallel 2. Parallel 2 options, we have Pedro Martinez, Cliff Lee. After that, it kind of drops below. Actually, I'm going to use Espino. He has some great swing and miss stuff, a high hits per 9. It's just that walks per 9 with like the meter that we're going to have to attend to. But 5 pitches, 99-mile-an-hour fastball with outlier, good velocity and break. I think this is a solid choice here. Now we move on to the bullpen, and we do have some options here for different parallel levels, starting with parallel 4. All of my parallel 4 options are pretty much listed here. I only have 3 of them with Diaz, Presley, and Duran. I'm going to go with probably Presley just because we do have Edwin Diaz at a base level that we can choose, for example. I'm going to put Presley over there to the right just to know who I've picked so far. Next is unparalleled 6. I'm going to stick with Daniel Bard since we haven't done too much with him yet. Parallel 5. Okay, well, the only 2 parallel 5 cards that I have are the All-Star Joe Nathan, who's an 85 overall, and then a 1-of-1 common card that I got. So we're going to pick Joe Nathan for sure. And there we go. There's All-Star Joe Nathan. He's up to an 88 with his parallel level. Parallel 4, okay. So we have choices between either Diaz or Duran, Diaz being the better of the 2, so I'm going to stick with him. We picked another parallel 4, so I guess we're going with Duran. 3 more bullpen arms to pick. Parallel 5, oh no, we're going to have to go with the 1-of-1 card that I got. So let me skedaddle all the way over here to the 55 overall John Romero. 54, I lied. He's even worse than I thought. So this card right here is a card that I paralleled just because I wanted a 1-out-of-1 Twins player. And at the time I did so, all of the men on the 40-man roster were taken. So I had to go with somebody who was injured and off the 40-man roster. Ended up with John Romero. So he's in our bullpen at 54 overall. We go now to the remaining 2 spots, and we picked another parallel 5, which I straight up do not have. So we're going to have to pick a pitcher under 85 overall. I guess we can go with base level Josh Hader, or we can also go with Devin Williams, but for the sake of needing more lefties in the bullpen, we're going to go with Hader. Right now our only lefty. I probably should have picked this better, and we go back to parallel 1. So we should probably look for another parallel 1 lefty out of the pen. Aroldis Chapman, just got him to parallel 2. Oh, we do have Brad Hand. Okay, so we have the new finest Brad Hand card that we can choose. So that'll lock down our bullpen. Again, we have 1 common card, 1 gold card, a couple low diamonds, and then the rest are pretty close to 99 overall. I should probably use them in the order that I picked them, though. So I'd probably go to Presley first out of the bullpen, then Bard and Nathan. So these other guys we might not even need to use. Nathan, though, has low energy, so I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to use him in ranked, along with Josh Hader, also has some low energy from a previous game. You know what, just for the sake of maybe this video and playing a shortened game, let's pick a second starting pitcher, and we got parallel 3. So these are the choices that I actually have. Parallel 3, we have Joe Ryan, Bert Blyleven, and Brett Saberhagen. I'm going to go with Saberhagen because I keep getting torched with Blyleven online. So there are 2 starting pitchers, Saberhagen as a backup if need be. So here's what I'm riding with the starting lineup. Arozarena with his speed in the leadoff spot, and Simeon just completely mashes the ball for me, even though it doesn't look like he should. Justice, a good 3-hole hitter. We could swap him with Devers if we needed to. Posada has some of the most power on the team, and as a switch hitter, he'll have the advantage over whoever we face on the mounds. Buxton has too much power to ignore to leave down too far in the lineup, so we have him at the 6th spot, followed by Morneau and Swanson. I think Swanson would be a good secondary leadoff hitter if we get down to that 8 or 9 position. Also for the uniforms today, I don't really have the option to do like a multicolored parallel 1 through 5, so we're just going to use the long ball beasts as our uniform of choice. And let's get right into a ranked season game. Our current rating is 453. Season resets here in a couple of days. I don't really have a good preference for a home ballpark either, so I'm just going to pick the Sandlot just for fun. So here we go. We finally found a ranked matchup, and it will be the parallel squad versus the Blue Sox 99 overall God Squad. With a few exceptions, we have Juan Soto and Shohei Ohtani, although he has them pretty high in that parallel 4 and 5. We do not get the home game. We're playing at somebody's created stadium that looks like it's in the mountains. Oh, it's Hogwarts Castle. And we are leading off with Randy Arozarena, who I have not used in rank so far to this point. And right off the bat, we swing and miss at a slider. We should probably see what he's featuring, but that slider was just too good down the middle. There's another fastball I swung at. Arozarena actually has horrid vision, which could come back to bite me. He swats the curveball the other way, almost to the warning track. Soto over there in right field's going to make the catch. All right, so he threw a slider down before, and then he's going to go high with a fastball. And there we go. We were just early on a 100-mile-an-hour fastball, but already we're picking up on his sequencing. Nice little curveball on the inside part of the plate. Had to fight that one off, and he gets a 1-2-3 inning with Shohei Ohtani. This guy's got O'Neal Cruz at the top of his lineup, so good speed and power. Gonna see if he chases a curveball low in the dirt. All right, so there's a 3-pitch strikeout to O'Neal Cruz. This is a bit worrisome, though, as Espino's par with the meter and his walks and control is a bit low. Get over there, Swanson. You got the speed and fielding. There we go. So some of these secondary pitches, we're going to have to rely on his fastball quite a bit because his circle change, curveball, they have amazingly high pars even in the first inning here. As I throw an off-speed pitch, he goes the other way with it, but Justice is going to get this one a step in front of the warning track. That was worrisome. Scoreless first inning. Let's see if we can get the bats going in the second with Posada and Devers. This is my first ranked plate appearance with Jorge Posada as well. And he's starting to mix it up a little bit after we gained his sequence after the first two batters. Posada the other way. We were a little bit off the PCI, but quite a bit on the PCI, enough to drive it out of here. Good opposite field power there by Posada, and that's exactly why we have him in the 4-hole. Elevation might have helped us out a little bit too. I have no idea what the elevation is here at Hogwarts, but some people make it really high. So this could be a home run derby. Left a curveball hanging, and we were able to slap it the opposite way for a base hit through the shift. That one definitely could have been a home run, though. Here's Byron Buxton batting .269 in ranked play so far. Like I said, just can't square up the ball too much with him. But when I do, it's often a home run. His vision and contact is just super terrible for the live series card, and it got worse as the season went on. Like, his contact went down, but his power went up. And there we go. Fastball way too late as Byron Buxton. Even his slider, his secondary pitch, has an amazingly high par. I didn't really realize that this would be the case here on All-Star before picking him. Again, we did have some other options like Pedro Martinez that I could have picked. That also throw 102. Somebody stat checked that for me as Ortiz swings and misses or check swings at a circle change. So we are keeping him off balance at the very least. And he already quit. Okay. It was a 1-0 ball game. Plenty of opportunities to, continue forward, and just struck out with a few of his first hitters, decided that was enough, and that's exactly why we picked a secondary pitcher, just in case. So again, for round 2 of this game, and if this one ends short, I'm just going to have to end the video for the sake of time, but we're going to be using Brett Saberhagen. A win here would push us into the 500s to end the season. We're going to just choose Date Palm Field again. We were the away team last time, and I think having a low elevation stadium might actually benefit us. We do have a few fast guys on the roster too, so we have Buxton. Swanson has some decent speed. There's only really a couple guys on my roster that are going to hit the ball way out of the ballpark, and that's Devers and Posada, plus whoever we have on the bench. What we're going to need is some consistent hits in a row and just kind of keep the train moving. So this time we are the home team, and we're playing the Space Aliens 99 God Squad. A lot of power on that roster, so I'm glad we picked a low elevation ballpark this time around. This is actually my first game of the year at Date Palm Field. This is one of the great base level stadiums you can get to start out without having to build a stadium or buy one out of the shop right away. I think this guy's playing on Nintendo Switch. I swear I saw the Switch icon. Julio Rodriguez is batting .77. .077 would be absurd. So can we just carve him up with Brett Saberhagen as he takes a solid take over there on the outside part of the plate for pitch number 1. Simeon, diamond defense over there at second base, which is appreciated. I really don't have any good reason for why I have Brett Saberhagen at a parallel 3 other than the fact I just really like his pitch mix. It's a fastball, changeup, curveball, slider, which back when I used to play baseball was my pitch repertoire. So I guess I just kind of resonate with his pitching style and stuff, as there's a changeup right down the middle, and it's a single back up the middle, nothing doing. Can't make too many mistakes like that going forward though. Just missing with some of these pitches by Saberhagen, and he's been having some good solid takes, like I said, on some of those pitches so far today. Bit late on that fastball. Not quite 100 miles an hour, but 98 is still pretty decent. Change up, swing and a miss. I'm going to see if he doubles down here and maybe strikes out or gets into a double play. Alright, we'll take the strikeout for 2 away. A lot of these rosters that I've been seeing in ranked have been, as that one scoots by Devers. Can we throw out this guy at third? No, he's not going to chance it. But a lot of these guys I've been seeing so far are just 125s across the board. That tends to be the God squad that people are making this time of the year, and I don't blame them. Like, Hank Aaron can play anywhere, is about as close to 125s across the board as you can also get. It's really chasing that changeup. It's just really slow compared to his fastball, 78 versus 98. That slider, ooh, he's taken the slider quite a bit here today. Fastball high, see if he reaches. Ooh, that one just barely caught the top of the zone anyway. Here's a Rosarena to lead us off again, and we're actually facing Pedro Martinez, so the other pitcher that I considered for my last matchup at Parallel 2. Gonna face a lot of fireballers here though with this squad, which with some of this low vision that we picked, Randy Rosarena, like I said, great contact, power, speed, vision is just really low. Slaps that one, we're late on it. We just need to be a tick earlier on a lot of these pitches and just kind of amp ourselves up a bit. He's going to bunt with O'Neal Cruz. Trying again here on 0-1. And it's going to work, because of course it is. I guess I'm not the only one that hits well with Sean Green. Rosarena's not going to catch that one. And man, he went up and out of the zone to get that one on the outside part of the plate. Like, look at that. That fastball, it is just off the black, but again, he had to like pull that one the opposite way. Well, now we're down 2-0 to a guy playing on a Nintendo Switch, so we really just got to get good here. So this might be the final inning for Saberhagen, depending on how he does. And just like I said, we might need some of those bench guys to put up some offense for us. Strategically, we do have a lot of good bullpen arms in the 99 range. So there's a curveball that was hung by Saberhagen. This guy has been really disciplined, like I said, so Saberhagen's been making a lot of pitches. He's already averaging about 13 pitches per inning. That one just misses Morno, so another base runner here as he gets to the middle of his order. There's the changeup. I put it in a place that he probably didn't expect, and we do have 5 strikeouts with Saberhagen. Probably expecting something outside. I'm going to see if he swings at a fastball out here. Or I can just dot the corner. That's not what I intended, but I'll take it. There's one of my best sliders of the day, and Saberhagen with another strikeout, so I think I'm going to pull him here for a pinch hitter in the 3rd inning. But he did get quite a bit of strikeouts in the few innings that he did pitch. So I did promise we were going to use our first few arms out of the bullpen that we drafted, starting with Ryan Presley. If I can get a hit with Dansby Swanson, then open it up for somebody like Ken Griffey Jr. off the bench, that would be swell. That one we're late on the fastballs. Swanson just has such a low PCI too. You know what? I'm going to go with Sean Green now because the likelihood that we could use somebody in the game who's good against lefties and righties. I mean, Ken Griffey Jr. has power against both. So let's go with Sean Green as long as we have this matchup right here. Again, I'm batting .583 with him with 5 home runs. His Sean Green on the opposite side is the only guy that's gotten a home run to this point. See if he gives me a 2-0 fastball or if he goes back to the changeup again. That's what he did last time. Went with the off-speed pitch, maybe just dancing around Sean Green. I'm going to take this next pitch, whatever it is. There's a fastball. It's in an area I probably wouldn't have swung at anyway. Oh, and that is the most absolute precious dot I've ever seen my opponent get. That is a fantastic pitch. Well done. I'm a bit surprised he hasn't been attacking me with more fastballs, though, because I have not been able to catch up to Pedro Martinez today. Almost dotted that one, too, with the slider. Randy on the contact swing on a curveball on the lower part of the plate. Nearly golfed that one for an extra base hit. Instead, it will be a 1-2-3 inning. We did make him work a little bit more this inning, though. He's going to try and bunt with O'Neal Cruz again. Like I said earlier, if you're on the switch and you're facing like a fireball or something, I understand. But I'm like, you're already up 2-0. Might as well get your swing off. Back to Presley. He should be able to make the play. Oh, just barely though, still. And oddly enough, he's been dealing with Pedro Martinez where he might not have to worry about it, but there have been a few times where he's fell behind 3-0, and there's his second walk of the game, which is perfect because we have Jorge Posada up next, and he is, along with Devers, our 2 best home run options here in the lineup. Oh my god, I'm so late on these. Work this one to a full count with Posada. We're just going to contact swing, see if we can get something here. And we stayed with the circle change. Aaron's going to knock it down, but that's our first base hit of the ball game. And wow, I guess we're not going to get no hits, but that was about the worst hit you can probably hope for in that case. And immediately Devers with a double play ball. If he can rally, the turn is late. I don't know if he throw canceled or something. I don't have much faith here in Byron Buxton though with his contact and vision. And that's precisely why. We were a bit late on the slider there. Surprised he even got the PCI on it. We'll go with Joe Mauer in this spot. We do have a backup catcher. I don't think there's really injuries or anything here, but we need to just save Ken Griffey Jr.'s power and maybe speed for later. So if we can just get a solo home run here with Mauer. He also has some of the best vision and contact that we can possibly get against Pedro Martinez, so this would be really huge if we can get something just off the PCI with the cutter. God dang it. Here's our first usage with Daniel Bard, who, amazing comeback story, pitched with the Red Sox, was out for a few years, and now finding his career again with the Rockies. See if I can get a few changeups in before I throw the fastball, which tops out at 101, also a 100-mile-an-hour sinker. Now we just blow it by him, hopefully. There we go. Daniel Bard did not use a sinker in the last at-bat, and now we can maybe use a few more of those. It's a high-power sinker, and it kind of looks like an off-speed pitch out of the hand. Another strikeout by Bard on the fastball. Our relief pitchers have been shutting him down to this point. Presley had quite a few strikeouts. There's a grounder to Simeon, but diamond defense over there should do the trick. It's a 1-2-3-6th inning. If I can just get one base runner on here and get Posada up this inning, maybe tie it up with one swing. Or Simeon on the contact swing, is that going to go? No, it is not. I'm really sick and tired of this 102-mile-an-hour nonsense. Pedro Martinez never threw that hard, and I am struggling because of it. As a counterpoint, though, we're one Oneil Cruz bunt and a Sean Green wall scraper away from a tie ball game, so if we could just create a little bit of luck on our own, as that's the third straight bunting attempt there by Oneil Cruz. Hasn't really tried swinging with him at all. Oh, that one's going to be at the wall, but foul. Sean Green just owns every part of the plate, apparently. That on a sinker that was tailing outside. It's up to Posada and Devers. This is our best attempt right here. Because if they don't get on base, I don't know if we'll have an opportunity with them again in the 9th inning. We'd have to put together a few more walks or base hits for that to happen. And he gets us on the changeup. We finally have a good swing on a fastball right where we think it was going to be, and it's a lazy fly ball to center field, because of course it is. I would be shocked if I got anything other than a strikeout or pop out with Byron Buxton. Oh, there's a grounder up the middle. Oneil Cruz, you absolute unit over there at shortstop, gets the superhuman dive. I just cannot buy a foul or a run or a hit or anything today. Rosarena should have room for this one against the wall. That is almost the exact same point that Sean Green dumped one over the fence earlier today. We got him. There we go. Gonna chase it. Simeon throw on to first. So we do give up our first base runner in quite some time, but we're able to throw him out on the base paths. Dansby Swanson over the second baseman's head? No. So it is going to be up to Ken Griffey Jr. here with nobody on. Maybe get one run back here. That one's going to be right to the shifted defense. So we are down to our last 3 outs, and it's going to be up to the All-Star Game Joe Nathan card to see if we even stay in the ball game here. The new Joe Nathan has a sinker instead of a changeup. That's the only change between some of those. And Nathan, a former shortstop, does have some good fielding over there on the mound. So if we get to the point where we face Oneil Cruz, who I think is a 7-hole hitter, Nathan should be able to field some of those bunting attempts that he's been doing so far today. I cannot get anything to go my way. Even some of those where it's like superhuman dive or like an attempt to just can't do it. No shot he's going to get a base hit on that garbage. Look how far out of the zone that was. And he was early on it. Now he's going to try and bunt with Oneil Cruz to try and get like a sacrifice or something. I'm just going to throw him high fastballs or maybe a 12-6 in the dirt here. Yeah, you're not getting a cheap bunt run here, buddy. I'm going to intentionally walk Sean Green because he's been a beast so far today, and that will force his hand with Pedro Martinez. Either he takes him out or he swings away. Either way, I think I'm kind of fucked. Billy Williams, eh? All right, I'm going to force your hand then and warm up Josh Hader, put him into the game cold. Now he's going to probably switch his pinch hitter again. Curtis Granderson, okay, interesting choice, but I'll take that over Billy Williams against a righty. Probably going to expect a slider again, so I'm going to go with the inside fastball. Josh Hader, Jesus Christ, can't walk in a run here. And that's ball game. I tried throwing a slider down here and ended up here. Probably not the best pitch to go to on a full count, but at the same time, I hadn't thrown it a few pitches. So we got the top of the lineup. We need 5 now. Liam Hendricks, the 2020 finest card, I'm assuming. 5 pitches. Finally, there's a solid base hit, and it comes from Marcus Semien. Evades a diving Babe Ruth, and finally, I'm just glad to get one that wasn't a bounce off the second baseman's glove. A little bit too little too late, though. I mean, we do have the heart of the order coming up here. Posada, please. It's going to be a home run. All right, so if it wasn't for that goddamn 3-run double that we let up, this would be a tie ball game, although he'd probably still have Pedro Martinez in there. The first squared up fastball that we've had all day. I mean, we did have a few in the PCI, but finally one that goes for something. And he attacks the inside part of the plate. Just can't get a good read on that slider with Liam Hendricks. So we do get some late runs on the board for a 5-2 defeat. Note to self, if I ever continue this series, definitely pick some guys with higher contact and vision as you get lower down the parallels, or those some of those like 84, 85 overall guys that just did not really have much for swing. Good props to this guy. I was just absolutely terrible against Pedro Martinez, and especially somebody playing on the Switch. I mean, tip my cap to you. That's a struggle playing on the Switch this year. But that's going to do it for this episode of Team Build Tuesday. Thought you might enjoy this interesting team build of choice with the randomizer. We just really couldn't put it into action for game number 2 because Pedro Martinez is a beast, and I probably should have picked him as my starting pitcher. Signing off for now, though, this is Kasabe. We'll see you next time.